I cannot believe I am finally doing my last assignment for graduate school. This is just insanity in a really, really wonderful way. I have been working on this for almost 4 years now, and the, you know, the road to my degree has not been linear at all. I have moved 3 times. I've gotten engaged. I got married. Am. I've been at 3 different jobs. Um, Life has just happened around this whole degree in a really beautiful way. Um, and I feel really grateful and really encouraged how everything worked out. Um, I think one of the things that surprised me was I know going into it, I had never done any kind of online learning before, and I had a lot of doubts about myself. Like, am I going to be able to be disciplined enough to stick to the schedule without having like a set class time to go to or a set, you know, physical classroom space to attend. So I had a lot of doubts about myself going into it. So I think I pleasantly surprised myself um, through this because I'm graduating with a really, I did really well academically, so I'm really pleased with that. But I think also part of that was the fact that I was this is emotional because it's the culmination of like my life, 4 years of my life, and so much. Um, I think I changed a lot as a person and I learned a lot of things, and I think that um, if I were talking to someone who is about to start this program or any master's program, it would be like make sure that you know your why. Like, why are you doing this? Because knowing your why is what's going to help when you are super down. Because there were times when I was really down during this program, especially during my field placements, because man, those hours, like I was working full time throughout my whole MSW program, and during both of those years where I had field placements, it was so challenging to balance a full-time job and my internship and classes, all of that all together. And I think if I didn't really love social work and if I was not 100% committed and sure that like this is my life's purpose, I don't think I could have gotten through it. So, like, I think I would have like dropped out. I don't think I would have completed my degree because it gets so challenging that you are just pushing yourself to your absolute limit. Um and there were a lot of times where I was just like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I really had to reflect on my why again and again. Before I recorded this, I actually looked at one of the videos that I made for my SWG 501 class, like my very first semester, just to see what I said. And I was so optimistic. So it was really neat to kind of see past Becky and to be like, oh, You don't know anything. But I feel really grateful that I followed through on everything. And I feel really grateful that I took a really long time to make the decision to go back to graduate school, because I finished my undergrad in 2010 and I didn't go back to grad school until 2016. And I waited a really long time until I really felt a calling, um, that like this is what I wanted to do. So I think that's another thing that I would really recommend someone do before starting the program, is really kind of reflect on their life and what their long-term goals are and what they feel like their purpose is. And for me, it was absolutely to serve others. Um, and that fact has just been validated again and again through the work that I did at both of my field placements and through the jobs that I've had. And I think really just being super intentional about making the decision to go back to school is something that I would strongly recommend someone new to the program, because you're going to need to be super flexible with your life and your life plans with this program, because even though it is online, like the online format offers an amazing flexibility to it, because like I said, I've moved around, life has changed so much, but I've still been able to do my program because it's all online. However, I have had to make a lot of sacrifices as far as like, doing fun things on the weekends, or spending time with my husband, or going and visiting my family that lives on the other side of the country. I've had to just really sacrifice a lot for making the time to do things like my internship and my homework and all of those things. So this is not a decision that someone should take lightly, because this is gonna be a huge lifestyle change. And for me right now, what's going through my head these days is, what is my life gonna look like after I finish? What am I gonna fill my weekends with? Like I'm already planning on like I've started studying for my licensure exam, which I plan to take within a couple months. Or whenever I feel ready, so probably within a few months or so. But other than that, like, I don't have field placement anymore. I'm done with my hours. I'm done with classes. So it's going to be this finding the new normal to my life, and what does my life look like without graduate school? And I'm really excited about that. But it is something that has really impacted my like social life and just a lot of aspects of my life, and I think that's something to consider. I think another thing that I learned, I feel like I'm rambling, but another thing that I learned was that I think that I have always been kind of a natural optimist, and I never really realized until learning about like the strengths perspective and like client-centered theory is that like my own personal kind of go-to point of view really fits this field of social work, because I'm already kind of looking for the best in people, and I'm already looking for, what can I emphasize to people about like what they're good at, and how can I build people up. That's just not, that comes pretty naturally to me. So I think that's just another thing that I've noticed throughout this whole process. Finally, I'm really glad that I chose social work, because when I was making this decision to do the MSW program, I talked with several like therapists that I was working with at the time at my job, so colleagues at my job, um, And I said, I think I really want to be a therapist. What do you recommend? And some of the people who I talked to had their masters in counseling, and others had masters in social work. Um, they were all licensed. But almost all of them said to pursue social work, and I was really interested in this. And the ones who were licensed or masters in counseling, they said that their regret was that they felt like counseling really put them kind of in a they were kind of like pigeonholed, and didn't feel like they necessarily had the freedom to branch out if they felt like they wanted to at some point. So while I still actually do feel like I do want to pursue being a therapist, I also see such value in what we study as social workers, and studying disadvantaged populations and people who need our support, and how we can support them through our work. So I'm finishing this process feeling really grateful. If you're still watching, thank you. I really appreciate it.